Are you gonna swing?
Yeah, no, not like sorry, not like that kind of swing. Just okay. I have mine pulled up.
Did you type yours down this week?
I type it down every week.
Oh shit, I write mine down because I don't know. Typing is like so much harder for me for some reason to like take notes. I have to write stuff down.
Oh, my notes are awful, but
I didn't say mine were good.
that's fair. You did not say
I
notes.
just have to. For some reason, stuff gets in my head better if I write it as opposed to typing it. What was the week?
77.
Yes, the entire week of 1977. It was like September, right?
I don't know. Let's find out.
I think it was September 24th. Ow, fuck me.
Yes, that was it.
Cool.
September 24th, 1977.
Cool. Yeah, so the top 10 for this week. I don't remember who did it last week.
I've done it every single week, so I want you to start it this time.
Cool. All right. So number 10 on the top 10 for 9/24/77 is "Cold as Ice" by Foreigner.
Yeah, it is.
So the first thing I wrote in my notes is, "Holy shit, I spelled Foreigner right on the first try." However, for the actual song, it's all right. I feel like I don't dislike this song by any means, but I've also like every single like those radio stations that are like, oh, we play anything.
They just play this song.
That's pretty much they play this song so much. I've heard this song so much, like everywhere, and it's not a bad song, but I've heard it so much that it kind of makes me not like it as much. What do you think?
I'm surprised you agree with me, but yeah, I called it a classic because it is a classic.
Totally.
It's not really. There's not really anything to it. It's basic.
Yeah.
I do like the piano part a lot.
It's
the melody is also very catchy, but nothing stands out to me.
Yeah, by all means, I should like this song a lot more. But I've heard it so much, and I feel like it still doesn't really do anything like super exciting. Like it was, and maybe that's just because we're alive now. Because I feel like in '77 this was pretty badass, but pretty much now I've kind of heard everything that this song does before. I do like the synth that's like wee. You know what I'm saying?
I don't, but I'll agree with you anyways. I will say I kind of like the lyrics.
They're pretty cool. Yeah.
I don't know what it's about. I think it's about a cheating ex kind of thing, but
probably.
I don't know.
Maybe it's just it's about Jack Frost.
It's actually a Christmas song.
Yeah, "Cold as Ice" is actually a Christmas song. It's just a different kind of Christmas song.
So in the end,
it's like an emo Christmas song.
7 out of 10.
I gave it a. Go ahead, sorry.
Closer to a 6 than an 8 for sure.
I gave it a pretty good.
Yeah. Speaking of pretty good, we got "That's Rock and Roll" by Sean Cassidy. I hate this song.
Thank you. Okay, I was afraid that you liked it, dude, because you said "speaking of pretty good," and I was like, "Ooh, I'm about to have to disagree with this man." But what do you think? What are your reviews?
It's way too poppy, and I like pop music, but it's literally called "That's Rock and Roll."
It's like not trying.
This is what I wrote down. I said, this sounds like a movie song.
Yeah.
Someone went to Sean and was like, we need a cheesy pop song about rock and roll to end this movie. And this is what he came up with.
You need a rock and roll song, you say? Well, I've got the thing for you. I was talking to my dad about this, and I think he was an actor or something.
Well, he didn't write it, so.
Okay.
Eric Carmen. Whoever that is.
Isn't that the guy?
I've heard that name before.
He's in South Park.
Yeah.
He's the fat kid. No, I cannot stand this song, dude. It's super dull. It's super bland. It's just boring. His voice isn't really that good. He has this weird he's like he sounds like that kid that you went to high school with that you just always wanted to punch in the face.
Wait, I thought that was me.
That was me too. from myself.
We're both each other's high school punching bags.
But I really didn't like this one that much.
I originally gave it a 4 out of 10, but I just changed it to a 3 out of 10 because it's bad.
Yeah, no, it's not good. It's funny that this made and I don't think our boy Sean ever had any more top 10 hits.
Yeah, I doubt it. I hope not.
All right, speaking of hope.
Speaking of one-hit wonders.
The next one is Star Wars theme / Cantina Band by Mecco. Well, it's all right, but if you've seen any Star Wars movie, then you've pretty much heard this song. It's just a little disco-ier.
I will say, it kind of slaps. I kind of like it.
Me too.
Definitely because the theme, like we all know the theme.
Yeah.
So it's like really familiar, and I kind of understand how this eventually got to number one.
It got to number one? I did not know that.
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
I wrote that down. I hope that's true.
Dude, Star Wars was popular. Like, it still is, but when it came out, it blew everybody's fucking mind.
And I will say the Cantina part I really like because it reminds me of like electro swing, which is not a genre I really listen to, but I do like it a lot. That being said, it was like this isn't something I would ever listen to again.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. Me neither.
So,
I feel like the Cantina part was kind of like shoehorned in. Like it didn't really transition into or out of it well at all.
Agreed.
And that wasn't like the song is still like good, so it doesn't really take away from it as much. But it is weird. It's like if when you're riding in a car and you hit a pothole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I mean, like the music is cool. The strings do like really cool flourishes. Like it's not bad by any means, but it's just like, yeah, this isn't the type of song that I'd be like, oh man, you know what I feel like listening to right now is Star Wars theme / Cantina Band by Mecco.
Yeah, exactly. And to be fair, it's not really meant to be like that. It's meant to be played at a fucking party, like the disco party, you know?
Probably like a Star Wars party.
They actually played this at the anti-disco rally in 1979 because they liked this. That's not true.
Dude, the anti-disco rally, if I could go back in time and stop white people from doing one thing, it would be slavery, but that's a close second.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
So.
Speaking of which, just kidding.
Yeah.
I gave this a 6 out of 10.
I gave it a pretty good, which is a little bit better than good, which is weird because it's like it's good, but like I said, it's not something that I will listen to again.
Interesting. Okay. Speaking of interesting, the next song, number 7? Telephone Line by Electric Light Orchestra.
Hell yeah, bro.
Now, I know you are a big fan of Electric Light Orchestra.
Love me some
So
Jeff
I want
Lynne.
you to talk.
I love this. This song is amazing. I love it. Honestly, I have to say the delivery on some of the lines is kind of weird, the way he does it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really like. Remember last week when we were in that Captain and Tennille song where she said like in the verse she said I never wanted to kiss someone as much as I want to kiss you or whatever. When people do that, where they like repeat a word in a verse, I really hate it unless it's like necessary. And in this song, he kind of does it unnecessarily a lot, and he jumps around a lot with like his vocals. But I don't know, I still like it a lot. And it has a really cool like it's got a lot of sound effects and it's got a lot of like world building in the song, which I think is really cool. Yeah.
I said the intro was really cool. I like that little like combination of like phones ringing with like a synthesizer. Apparently that wasn't a real phone. They like played that on a synthesizer or an organ or something.
That's kind of cool.
Which is kind of dope. I'll admit. I'm not as big a fan of ELO as you, just because I haven't really listened to a lot of their stuff.
Uh-huh.
I've definitely heard this song before, but it's not really like familiar to me.
Yeah.
I said very cool soundscapes, especially with the ringing.
Yeah.
And then So I think it'll grow on me, and I definitely like it more than Cold as Ice. And it did grow on me. The second time I listened to it, I only listened to this twice because I've been really busy, but I liked it a lot more the second time, even more than the first time.
Yeah, no, I think the song is really cool. It's funny because it starts out hello, and it sounds just like that fucking Lionel Richie song. And like sometimes when I'm not paying attention, I think it's that song when it starts. But it's only when I'm like really not paying attention because there's telephone noises.
Who's Lionel Richie?
He's from the.
Are you talking about Adele? The Hello.
No, David. You know that song that goes "Hello, is it me you're looking for?"
Yes,
I can
know
see
that
it in
song,
your.
Tyler.
Oh, I thought you were being serious.
The thrift store has a poster of Lionel Richie, and I think it says,
"Ooh, it's about to not."
Hello, is it deals you're looking for? Which is the dumbest thing I've seen in a long time.
Is it for sale?
But, was it?
Is it for sale?
No.
Well, maybe I'll use my influence to see if I can get it.
Good luck. You do know a lot of people that work there.
That's true. That's what I meant. But what'd you give it?
Initially, I gave it a 7 out of 10, but the second time I listened to it, it grew on me, and I gave it an 8 out of 10.
I gave it a good. I like this song. I like this song a lot. The chorus sounds a lot like 21 Guns by Green Day. Did you notice that?
I did.
Yeah. Which is just like an observation. I think they plagiarized Green Day personally, but you know.
I think that's a joke. So.
Speaking of jokes, next up is "I Just Want to Be Your Everything" by Andy Gibb. You like the Bee Gees, right?
I don't know the Bee Gees that well.
I mean, I've never met them.
To be honest. I don't like their version of Sgt. Pepper's.
Oh, nobody does. Nobody does. So, that is one of the biggest mistakes.
That's my main impression of the Bee Gees, which I will admit is not fair, but
that's you're right though. That's not a very good album, I don't think. But anyway, we're talking about "I Just Want to Be Your Everything" by Andy Gibb.
Yeah, it's very groovy.
Yes,
I do like his voice. He's very smooth.
I wrote smooth too.
And he does a lot of falsetto, which I love. But nothing stood out to me at all. Like, it's just a generic like R&B disco kind of like thing, which. And also, I realize now when I was listening to this song why you knew so many on this list and I knew basically none.
Yeah.
Because it's 1977 and disco is the only thing that matters in music in 1977.
Mm-hmm.
And for those who don't know, which is all of you, Tyler said that he knew 9 out of 10 of these songs.
That's true.
And I knew like 3, I think.
Something like literally the only one I didn't know was "That's Rock and Roll."
You were missing out on much.
Which is funny too, because like that's the only one. That's the one that's like the most. That's like the furthest removed. Well, except for number 3 is also kind of far removed from disco, but number 9 is definitely the most far removed.
I agree.
But I like this song a lot. Obviously, I think you could figure that out. But I like the da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na, da-na-na. That part is really, really cool to me. Yeah, and it's like it's smooth, funky jam. Can I get a hell yeah, brother? That's what I put in my notes.
Hell yeah, brother.
Thank you. When I wrote smooth, my pen like ran out of ink on the second O, so it looks like it says smouth.
Smash Mouth?
Yeah. But yeah, no, I gave it a good. I like this song a lot.
I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Not bad.
Speaking of not bad, I'm just going to do that every time it's my turn. Just whatever the last thing is.
Good.
Speaking of, and then the next song.
I like it.
Strawberry Letter 23 by the Brothers Johnson. What did you think? I
wrote the Joe Bros as their band name. Dude, I actually, this song, my dad used to listen to it like nonstop. And I never knew what it was called until like a little bit ago. because I think somebody sampled it, and I was watching. You know, those like YouTube videos that are like 12 hit songs and their samples or whatever. Have you ever watched videos like that?
Uh, I've seen them, but I don't typically watch them.
Yeah, there's some song that sampled this song, and so I finally found it. And dude, I love this song, dude. Holy shit! The beginning, I wrote the intro is what dreams sound like. Um, it's very like it's very spaced out, but then it becomes really funky. The fucking bass is beautiful, beautiful bass line. The vocals are very smooth. I love everything about this song.
Well, I do like the intro a lot. I said it reminds me of a video game.
Yeah,
I don't remember why I said that, but I guess it does.
I can see what you're saying. Yeah. It's
I
kind of
do like the
atmospheric.
groove a lot, and the melody is very catchy, and I dig it. But it's again to me like not really anything stands out.
Uh-huh.
Also, the instrumental bridge. I don't remember what it sounds like at this point, but I remember not being a fan of it. Like I just thought it was boring, and it's also a little way too long.
I don't even. I
Not way too long, but it's a little long.
How long is it?
I think it's like 4.5 minutes.
Okay. I like this song enough so that it doesn't feel too long for me. But I can see what you're saying. Yeah, I just love
5 minutes
this.
long.
Holy shit! Yeah. Okay. I don't remember it being that. Wow. Yeah, I just really like this song. But I think a lot of why I like this song is nostalgia. Um, but
Yeah,
yeah.
that was the other thing.
Go ahead.
Because your dad grew up. He was probably what in like high school or college age during late 70s or something like that.
I think
Maybe I
he
don't know.
was. No, I think he was in middle. He was born in '65, so he's like middle school at this point, right? Yeah, he's like 12.
Still, like with your dad listening probably to a lot of disco.
Yeah.
He probably still likes it and plays it around the house. So
Yep.
you probably got a lot of it. Got a lot of it as a kid.
And now I listen to it and play it around the house. But I also just like
Around your kid.
yeah, she's looking out the window right now. But I really like I just really funk and like funk is like I said last episode, like funk and Motown and shit is like my genre. So this song is like it was obviously very easy for me to absolutely adore it.
Right. I did like it though.
I forgot to give this one a rating, but I would give it a good. I forgot to write it down, but it's good.
I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Nice. Speaking of long songs, "Keep It Comin' Love" by Casey and the Sunshine Band. Once again, our boys. What do you think of this one?
Well, I will say Casey and the Sunshine Band are extremely consistent, and they make the same song over and over again.
Yeah.
Which means I also don't care for this one.
Yeah,
except this one, the melody is not nearly as good as the last one. I don't even remember.
I was gonna say I don't even remember what the last one was. Let me see. I can check real quick. It was oh shit! I gotta go all the way through Chicago 9. It was okay. Hold on, or was it not this week?
Are you okay?
I can't find it. That's the way I like it. That was last week.
Yeah, that's what it was.
So yeah, now it's "Keep It Coming" Love. This song I like recently just rediscovered. It was like a month ago, and no, it was like 2 months ago because April felt like 5 seconds. Yeah, it was like March. But it was right after I got out of a breakup. And I don't know, this song is just like really happy and peppy, so I like it. And I also just like Casey and the Sunshine Band. But because it's like jazzy and funky. I will say though, you're absolutely right. This song is very repetitive. Casey and the Sunshine Band, at least with their top 10 hits, it seems had a very specific formula where they would write this catchy hook, and then they would write a verse that was not as catchy, and then they would go back into the hook, and that's the whole song. And it worked. It worked. But now it is. I feel like we kind of expect more from music. But this is like a pure dance song, which is why I think it sounds like that. It's not necessarily an excuse. It's just really more up to taste. But I definitely like this song. I'll bump this for sure.
Yeah, I said is generic, catchy, but generic.
I can agree with that.
I said I said I know it's all about dancing, but this is fucking stupid. Holy shit. There's like, I'm not even gonna comment on that because I can't really defend that. I just don't like it.
I mean, it's your opinion.
But I said I can see why people had disco riots if this is what the entire top 10 sounds like. Because holy shit, this would get so grating so fast.
That's true. And back then you couldn't just listen to your iPod. You couldn't hook up your Bluetooth in your car. So.
Yeah, they didn't have the iPhone yet. They only had MP3 players.
Right. So yeah, it was tough. It was a Wild West out there.
I think I was confusing Casey and the Sunshine Band with REO Speedwagon.
Really?
Because whenever I think of Casey and the Sunshine Band, the song I think of is "Take It on the Run," which is not Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Yeah.
It's REO Speedwagon, and I absolutely fucking love that song. And that's what I wish Casey and the Sunshine Band was, to be honest. But that's okay.
No, yeah, they're more just like they're really just pure dance music.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no, I like this song. I gave it a good, but it's one of those things where like I like it, but I can completely see why somebody would hate it, and I can also make arguments as to why it's not great. But I just like it.
I said with all of that shit I said about it, it was groovy enough to keep my attention the entire 4.5 minutes.
Yeah. It doesn't make you want to shake your fanny.
No, it's not.
No?
I gave it a... wait, say that again?
Doesn't it make you want to shake your fanny?
Oh. At times.
It'd be funny if you're still like, oh, no.
But I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, no, yeah, so I gave it a good. I think that's you next.
Speaking of you next, we got Don't Stop by Fleetwood Mac. I'm surprised that there's not more Fleetwood Mac on here, because Rumors was like one of the biggest albums ever, I think.
Was that 1977?
Really physically.
Yeah, it was just huge. It was hard to carry.
That's probably why. It was released in 1977. I guess it's because it was in February, and this is September. But still, I'm surprised that there's only one. Because, goddamn, Rumors has some hits.
It does.
Some damn good songs.
But this is also a damn good song. This is like one of the quintessential Fleetwood Mac songs, I think.
I agree. I love this song.
Yeah, me too. This one's awesome. It just irradiates good vibes. And it's one of those songs too that I think would be good to listen to if you're like kind of stuck in a rut or sad. Because the message is like just just fucking hang in there. Kind of.
I agree. It's very okay. I said a classic, and for good reason. Very good. It's so catchy and danceable. This is something that would make me wanna bump my rump,
Yeah.
And I said you can have disco music that isn't repetitive and boring. See, and this isn't really disco. But it would fit right in. I feel.
You think so?
In a lot of disco. I think.
It's kind of similar. I can see what you're saying. It's kind of similar, yeah.
My point was mainly that it's like kind of dancey, but
Yeah, no, I feel you. Speaking of dancing, next we have "Float On" by the Floaters.
Oh, hold on, we didn't give it a rating.
That's true. I gave it a good
8 out of 10. 8 out of 10.
Nice.
I love this song.
Yeah, me too. This song is amazing. Speaking of forgetting ratings, "Float On" by the Floaters. Thoughts?
Okay, so you and I both knew of this song. I don't think either of us ever actually listened to it.
I didn't, yeah.
Because of good old Pod in the Shadows on YouTube. Yeah. Check him out. He's fucking great. He's
awesome.
One of my favorite YouTubers.
Still makes videos too.
Yeah. I watched that video last night, and it was very funny, I guess. I don't know. It actually kind of helped me understand why this song got so popular.
See, I didn't watch it. I haven't watched it recently, so could you give me a rundown?
Well, no, but I don't see. I'm not good with memory, but I remember that it helped. Something I don't know what I'm talking about at this point. I'm just gonna talk about the song. We put the we did not listen to the single version. We don't do that for any of these songs. I think maybe we should start doing that, or at least listen to both.
I listen to both, yeah.
Because I hadn't done that previously, but I did for this song, and I'll get into the single version. But I want to talk about the album version first, because there's a lot to talk about here. Kind of.
It's 11 minutes long.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my god.
I want to hear your thoughts first.
Okay, so obviously, well, I'll just read my notes first. Floaters means poop. I mean, it's like little turds that float in the water. So like
that's what it was. That's what Todd in the Shadows brought up.
Yeah, so like
that helped me understand.
Great job naming your fucking band, guys. Also, Float On by the Floaters. That's up there with Feelings by whatever the hell his name is like one of the worst. I mean, Float On is not a bad name. Didn't fucking isn't that the name of that one song by Modest Mouse? Yeah.
Yep. Float, it's a fucking amazing song.
Yeah, so like Float On isn't a bad name, but by the Floaters is where you lose me.
So this is actually part of it.
Yeah.
The reason it's called Float On, it was supposed to be an instrumental track with. I think they did want the like chorus of the float on.
That's the best part of the whole song.
So, but like, if you can imagine this being instrumental, it's very floaty.
Yes.
And it kind of works for the song.
It feels like that
with the
for
lyrics, sure. It definitely has a clash, and that's what the Clash, famous punk band from London.
Of course.
And that's what Todd in the Shadows was talking about as well. So.
Yeah. So it starts with them talking. It starts with them. They say their fucking zodiac sign before their names. And some of the things that these motherfuckers say is so corny and cheesy and hilarious that it makes it. It's not even hard to. And like the music itself is honestly not bad. I might actually like it more if it was instrumental, to be honest. Because it starts, and the one guy, Libra, and my name is Charles.
I love that. I'm gonna introduce myself like that from now on.
Capricorn, and my name is.
We should have a song.
That's a good idea. That is a good idea.
Or an album.
That's just the whole album.
That would be a good solo album. It's just what were you Sagittarius and my name is Tyler? Or no?
I'm not
Aries and my name is Tyler.
I'm not an Aries either. I just said it, David. I'm a Capricorn.
Oh, you are? Oh.
I just said it.
Aries is what, April?
I don't know. I think so. Yeah, I think it's late March, early April.
I think of Aries as the first one because for some reason in like zodiac things they always start with Aries.
Yeah. Which I think it's because Capricorn is like late December, early January, so they just pick a random fucking starting. What are you? You're a Taurus, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And my name is David.
Fucking. Yeah. So Libra, and my name is Charles, and then he goes, I like a woman who's quiet, and it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then, and then the one guy, fucking Larry, at the end of his verse, he goes, share your love with Larry.
I fucking love it. I wrote that down. I quoted that, and that was my favorite part. And that was before I watched the Todd in the Shadows video where he said the same thing.
It's just.
I'm so glad you said the same thing. It's so good.
Yeah, like this song, because of how funny and cheesy it is, it kind of makes it better. In my opinion, because it's one of those things you listen to and you're like, what the fuck? But it's like, and like I said, the music it's really not that bad, honestly. And like I like it. The chorus is very, very, very catchy, and it just feels good. It's got a really nice groove to it.
I said interesting intro. I like it. That was when they were saying their signs and then their names, I think is what I was talking about there. And then also like the instrumental parts, which is like I think 3 minutes long. I said very nice groove. I especially like the triangle. I think it's a triangle.
I don't know like for sure what it is, but it's all those like little percussion, like cowbells, triangles, fucking like wood blocks, little percussion instruments like that just keep like a consistent tempo are fucking awesome in music.
Agreed. I said it's very ethereal.
Yeah.
Which I really like. Hence the name again. this was before I listened to the single version. I said a little over long, but I kind of like it that long. I think it'd be better if it was like 9 minutes, maybe 8 minutes.
It's one of those long songs that like feels like it has a purpose for being that long.
The only reason I disagree with that is because there's like 3 minutes of instrumental intro.
Right. Yeah.
And it sounds like there should be just another person, like, you know,
just like talking about his love signs. Yeah, it's funny. It's like basically this song is basically like Tinder for these guys. They just give they tell their love sign and then they give a what they're looking for in a woman.
Right. In the late 70s, before they had iPods, they had MP3s. And before they had Tinder, they had Float On by the Floaters.
Right. Unfortunately, the only people it worked for was the Floaters themselves. But it was like the same idea.
They all were happily married.
To each other.
After this.
Yeah.
No. Ralph found a woman who likes her freedom.
Nice.
Charles found a woman that's quiet.
Good, thank God.
Paul.
It's hard to find those,
everyone.
Right?
And Larry found someone who shares their love with Larry.
Who wanted to share their love with Larry, dude?
Also, I really like the ambient parts.
Yeah.
There's like a I don't know what it is. In one of our songs, we kind of had Jake play like a glockenspiel to simulate like wind chimes.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That was I'm surprised that worked out as well as it did.
It was Storm Over the Ocean, yeah.
Yeah, it was. Check it out on Bandcamp, Spotify. It's not on Spotify. Check it out on Bandcamp.
It's not on Spotify anymore. I think it's on YouTube.
Just check it out.
Just think about it.
You know, check out Unprepared. That's us.
Yeah.
Plus 2 others that are very talented.
Who aren't here right now.
Unfortunately. They should be.
We could do an episode with the band. I feel like that we might all be talking over each other, but
that's just how it goes, you know?
That's part of the fun. It's just like practice.
It'll be like special episodes, like every 25 or something.
That's a good idea.
Big number, but
that's a good idea. Or we could do 10.
That's a better number. Anyways, after I listened to the album version, I listened to the single version, and I totally understand why it charted.
Yeah, it's yeah, I don't know. All of these songs that have like a fun, well, except for Cold as Ice. But other than that, maybe Telephone Line. But other than that, all of them have like a really fun, and like fucking Cantina Band was on here. Like obviously they weren't taking it like super seriously, but I mean that in a good way.
Yeah,
it was just.
I like it.
I like it too. I gave it an okay, but the more I think about it, the more I'm like, actually, like this, it's pretty good. I think it's just like, it's easy to get like turned off by how dumb and cheesy it is, but if you appreciate the campiness, then it makes it better. Like Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, like I said, I gave it an okay, but I think I'm gonna bump that up to a pretty good.
Nice. Speaking of bumping it up, at number 1, we have "Best My Love" by
The Emotions, which is a pretty cool band name, I think.
I agree. I kind of wish it was. I feel like The Emotions are like not a one-hit wonder, but like
they're close. They're adjacent.
Close, yeah.
A lot of Motown bands.
Kind of upsetting.
A lot of Motown bands were like that.
Yeah, Motown was new wave in the 70s.
Yeah.
And 60s, 60s, 70s.
And it, yeah, but
it was such a fucking dumb thing to say. But it's kind of true.
Well, everything is new wave at some point, kind of.
Sure.
But I honestly, the only notes I have for this, not that this isn't the only thing I have to say, but the only notes I have are probably one of the best songs of all time. I fucking love this song, dude. Holy shit. It is so good. It's another song that feels yellow to me. It's so catchy. Oh my God. It's so, and the part where it goes like, whoa, 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 and then it stops and she goes, you know what I'm talking about?
I do. I love that part.
Oh my God. That's so good. It is so good.
I love this song, but not nearly as much as you do, for sure. The intro groove is so good.
Yeah.
I said pretty sure this is a classic because I think I've heard this song before, but I didn't know if it was like one of those fluke number ones or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I figured it wasn't because it's actually a good song, but I liked it. Actually, I loved it. I don't know who's singing this. Do you know the name of her name?
I do not. I can see if I can find that real quick.
I'm gonna find out. You talk now.
Well, I'm gonna fuck. Damn it! I was gonna say I'm gonna go grab a Coke, but now I can't do that.
Damn it, Tyler.
It's okay. No, I think the Emotions were like they're one of those bands like Diana Ross and the Supremes, if I remember correctly, or like the Temptations, where it's like a bunch of like I think it was like three ladies, and they all sang with a like lead singer.
Right.
Whoever the lead singer is might have gone on to have a solo career, because that's how a lot of Motown bands were.
It's not telling me.
Really?
Oh wait, maybe.
Maybe it's just the Emotion.
Yeah, it's not telling me.
That's weird.
Oh, they're all named. Oh, I think they're sisters.
Oh. What? Is their last name Emotion?
Nope, it's Hutchinson. Oh. Which I understand why they're not called the Hutchinsons.
Best of My Love by the Hutchinsons.
Actually, that would be too bad, to be fair. Oh, it's probably Sheila, because she actually wrote some songs. Or Wanda, I don't know. Wanda wrote some. I don't know. The point is, her voice is super soulful. And I like it.
Yes.
And actually, I think the star of this song is the backing vocals by the other sisters.
I think this song would be
so good.
It would not be as good as it is if the backing vocals weren't so strong. I think backing vocals can take a good song and like an amazing song.
I agree 100%.
Like in Ram, what's that one song? Monkberry Moon Delight. Like, that's a good song, but when you have the backing vocals in that song, it just makes it so much better.
I agree somewhat. I think it's a good song, like a really good song.
Yeah, dude. But on the Wikipedia for this song, it says personnel, and then it just says the Emotions vocals. Like, cool, thanks.
Yeah, that's so useless. Even on the studio album, or the album, I don't know why it said studio album.
Oh, Maurice White worked on this.
Was it?
Maurice White worked on this, and he was one of the members of Earth, Wind, and Fire, which is like one of the best bands of all time. Quote me.
Okay, Tyler Hairston to 2020 said Maurice White. Nope, not that, but Earth, Wind, and Fire, one of the best bands of all time.
Hell yeah. Okay, so the Emotions were Adrienne Harris, Jeanette Hawes, Pamela Hutchinson, Sheila Hutchinson-Witt, Teresa Davis, and Wanda Vaughn. But there's only 3 of them in that picture. Okay, never mind. Here it says Chicago Trio of Sisters, so maybe, I guess, 2 of those. There's 6 of them there.
What the fuck?
I don't know. Maybe they cloned themselves or something.
Dude, this probably is like a big conspiracy. Like these weren't real people.
They just switched them out. Yeah, it's like that K-pop, or what was that? There's like a Japanese pop star who's like not a real person.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't remember who it is or anything, but I do know what you're talking about.
It's probably just one of those things. They probably just switched them out. Yeah, because it says Chicago Trio of Sisters, who parlayed their gospel foundation to a long soul career, and then
I googled it. I googled who sang "Best of My Love." The answer is Eagles. The Eagles did it. So.
Nice. Okay. Cool.
Thanks, Google.
So helpful. But yeah, no. A lot of songs, dude. Gospel is like such a good foundation, and like even if you're not religious, I think gospel is worth it to listen to, because the stuff, like the chord voicings and the things that like gospel music does are amazing. And when you like fuse that with other forms of music, I think the outcome is fucking phenomenal.
I actually really like gospel.
Yeah.
Except I do not like the lyrics, because they're usually like really fucking cheesy.
Yeah.
And like, dude, I think it's definitely possible to write about God and not have it be cheesy. Case in point, My Sweet Lord by George Harrison.
Mm.
Fucking amazing song. To be fair, it's not really gospel, but in terms of lyrics.
But it's about God. Yeah, it's about God, yeah. Which is, that was the point you're making.
So, other than that, though, I really actually do like gospel a lot.
Yeah, no, it's very good. But yeah. So no, this song is amazing. I love it.
I gave it an 8 out of 10, which means I love it.
I gave it a good, and I also love it. Good is like good just means it's like the top rating, but if I like it more, I'll say very good. But I'm just lazy.
See, the rating system doesn't mean jack shit because it changes every day depending
Exactly.
on what mood I'm in. So
yeah. So all right. Let me go refill my soda here. You want to keep them entertained?
No, but I will. So today we're going to be talking about Asia by Steely Dan. Asia, spelled A-J-A, is an album by Steely Dan, as you can gather. And it's fucking great. My friend Auden, I'm not going to give last names, he suggested this to me because I was talking to him about how I kind of wanted to get more into jazz. I really like rock music in general, what I would consider soft rock, I guess. But he was like, hey, listen to the Asia and you'll fucking love it. And guess what? I did. And so, excuse me, that's why we're talking about this album today.
Today we'll be talking about The Country of Asia by Steely Dan. It's a little known fact.
Steely Dan
they paid for
was actually a nickname for Confucius.
The Art of War by Steely Dan. Yeah,
that actually sounds like an album they would release.
That sounds like an album we should release.
I agree.
But no, that actually would be kind of dope. But anyway, yeah, Asia was actually created by Steely Dan after they got really popular and they had all this money they didn't know what to do with, and they were like, you want another country or not? Another continent rather. You want to make the country of Asia. Oh boy. All right. So do you have any background about the album itself?
Yes, all copied from Wikipedia directly.
Nice.
So
hell yeah, bro. That's how we do it here at Jam.
You know, I hate when teachers are like, "Oh, you can't trust Wikipedia. Like, fucking anyone can edit it." Yeah, no shit. But guess what? They have people that like monitor that so that false information doesn't get published. Also, they have to put their sources at the bottom.
Yeah.
So Wikipedia is a great page, especially if you want to find sources on something without just Googling Steely Dan Asia or something.
Also, have you ever read a fucking American history textbook? Because those are the most. You want to talk about not telling the whole story? You want to talk about unreliable sources? Read a fucking American history textbook. Holy shit, dude. They're like, America was good everywhere. The Vietnam War was won by the U.S. and we were the good guys the whole time.
Speaking of the Vietnam War, coronavirus has killed more people than it in America. Isn't that fucking insane?
Isn't that kind of scary? Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't really got much of the brunt of it where David and I live, but it's fucking wrecking us over here in the U.S. Dude, speaking of Vietnam again, I saw that they had like 0 deaths, and I think their lockdown order ended because they played it smart.
Anyways, let's not get political.
Let's not. Good idea.
Speaking of not getting political and Vietnam, Asia is the 6th studio album by the jazz rock band, and I kind of use that term loosely.
Yes.
Steely Dan.
Yes. Okay. So real quick, do you remember last episode where I said, "Do you know Steely Dan's deal?" And you said, "Kinda." I'll let you say it because I'm sure that you know what I'm talking about now.
Yeah, I did not look it up. Well, I didn't write it down, I should say, but Steely Dan is basically not really a band. It's kind of there's 2 guys, Walter Becker and Donald Fagen, which are great names. Right. I can't help but notice neither of them are named Dan
or Steely. Odd.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Fucking posers. But anyways, so their deal is basically they were like, and I'm paraphrasing. I watched the video. Polyphonic, another
amazing YouTube channel. Yeah, for sure.
Fucking check them out. They're way better than this shit. In fact, turn this off.
Right now.
Watch Polyphonic and Todd in the Shadows. They deserve it way more than you do. Or you can do both. That's probably better. Anyways.
Leave this one on in the background.
Anyways, these two people basically wrote a bunch of good stuff, but they couldn't do it all themselves. So they hired a bunch of studio musicians. Like, when I say a bunch, I mean like a shit ton. And they, for this album at least specifically, they had more than they needed. So they kind of like swapped them out. I can't remember what song it was, but for one of them, they had 6 different people try to play the guitar solo before the one that they liked the most, I guess.
Yeah, it was Peg.
Was it Peg? Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember which one.
The only reason why I know that, when I listen to an album that David gives me, I don't look up anything, but the only reason why I know that is because on Spotify it has like a behind the lyrics thing. So I was reading it while the song was playing. But we'll get there when we get there. But yeah, Steely Dan, it was just those two guys, and then every album they just had a bunch of session musicians in. And the I think the benefit of that is that session musicians are fucking amazing because all they do is play their instrument. So it makes the instrumentation and like the music fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Because like when you have people like David and I, we're more like, oh, well, David's a really good musician. I'm
not true.
I'm okay. But we're more like jacks of all trades. But session musicians are like experts in their instruments.
John would be more like a session musician.
Yes,
John
he would.
Totally could be a session musician and probably should be.
That's a good. Yeah, that would be a good idea for John. We should tell him that. John is our drummer and he's fucking amazing.
We're gonna write a prog rock 20-minute prog rock song just for him because he really likes prog rock. The issue is none of us can play prog rock because none of us are that good. But
I mean that's why God invented MIDI.
That's true. Anyways. What were you saying? Something?
I think I made my. I was just reiterating what you said about Steely Dan, like having session musicians and. Yeah.
Nice. So originally released in 1977 on ABC Records, the album peaked at number 3 on the U.S. charts and number 5 in the U.K., which is a lot higher than I would have expected.
Me
Even
too.
though I love this album, like I would not expect that that high. It was the band's first platinum album, and ultimately it became their best-selling studio release, eventually selling over 5 million copies.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. What? Yeah, I wouldn't expect that.
I knew this was their most famous album because of my friend that showed me it, but I wouldn't think it would be like that successful.
That's weird, dude. Because like I said, I really like Steely Dan, but I had never heard this album. When I looked at the track list, I didn't recognize any of the songs. When I listened to them, I recognized some of them. But yeah, I never. A lot of Steely Dan stuff I like is earlier, like "Can't Buy a Thrill" and "Pretzel Logic," and just their older stuff.
Right. So
I don't think that's the name of that. I don't think that album is named "Can't Buy a Thrill." But anyway, what were you saying?
No, it is. I'm pretty sure.
Is it? It's bothering me.
I think so. The one with
It's got like lips on the cover.
In the years.
It is "Can't Buy a Thrill." Okay, wow, I'm smarter than I realized.
So Donald Fagen has said that the album was named for a Korean woman who married the brother of one of his high school friends.
Okay.
They said that they didn't know how to spell it.
Asia?
Yeah, because like
how the fuck do you spell Asia?
They'd never seen this woman's name spelled out before. They weren't sure if it was like Asia, the country kind of spelling.
Oh.
But they went with this one because they thought it looked cooler and sounded like more. Not really sounded, I guess, but like it just seemed more.
It seems cooler, and I agree with that.
I do too.
I think the only thing is I worked with somebody who was named Aja, and their name was spelled very similar to this, so that's how I want to say it. But
well, that's wrong. But the cover photo, which is fucking amazing.
What is it?
I will talk about it in a second. It is by this Hideki Fuji. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Don't be. It's okay.
You did good.
It's okay.
And it features Japanese model and actress Soyoko Yamaguchi. It was designed by Patricia Mitsui and Jeff Weston. So what it is a girl wearing like a black suit or something with a stripe, a white and red stripe going down the back, and face paint on. And she's just kind of like her profile's in. She's not facing the camera. She's got her back facing the camera, but she has her head turned so you can see the profile of her face. And it's fucking dope. I think it's supposed to look like a J, kind of, but I don't know.
Oh, dude, I could not tell what the fuck it was supposed to be.
I don't know if that's what it's supposed to be.
Well, now I see it. Now I see it. I literally but I also didn't take a long. I didn't look at it super long, but yeah, it's okay. So I can see the face on the left, and then you said she's wearing like a jacket or something.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know exactly, but I just think it fucking looks dope. It's a really cool album cover.
It is pretty cool, and I like the font that they use.
I do too, and I think it perfectly matches the music. Speaking of, I'm going to talk about the album itself a little more.
Yeah, go ahead.
So that's not really a good segue. So when DTS attempted to make a 5.1 version, which I think is like stereo surround sound kind of thing, I guess, I don't know. They found out that the multi-track masters for both Black Cow and the title track were missing.
Oh.
But there is a reward out for the missing masters, or if there's any information on it, but it's $600. So
well, it's like chump change.
Well, it's just like that's what you're Steely Dan. Like this album made like a shit ton of money. You can offer a little more than that, I feel like, but I guess they don't want it that badly. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess not. Fuck it, whatever.
Anyways, that's all I have on the album.
Dope.
First up, Black Cow. So what are your thoughts?
All right. I've really liked the chord voicings, and that's kind of, for the most part, that's pretty consistent throughout the whole album. They use a lot of just really interesting chords. It's not standard, cowboy chords. At least as far as I can tell. Like I said, I didn't do any research on this because it's David's album, but as far as I can tell, it was really interesting. I gotta say, this song is one of those long song. Well, every song on this album, the shortest song on this album is 4 minutes long?
Yeah, I think that's how long it is.
Which, in terms of songs now, I feel like is pretty long. In terms of songs for people like David and I, who are fucking music nerds, that's not really that bad. However, this song just felt a little bit longer than it was. And there were some parts that I liked a lot more than others. Like this song for me was like a roller coaster with the peaks and valleys and excitement and what's catchy.
Okay. I don't, because this isn't a greatest hits album and these weren't all singles. I don't have a whole lot of information on all the songs.
Yeah.
Also, I did not do my research because I was.
You're busy,
finals,
right?
but,
yeah. No, don't sweat.
This was the B-side to Josie, and another album on this, or another song on this album. Do you know what Black Cow stands for, or not stands for, but what it means?
No.
So a black cow is a root beer float.
Oh.
Which is fucking hilarious.
That's awesome.
And the chorus, he's like, "Drink your big black cow and get out of here."
Yeah, I was wondering what that was. Okay. I was like, what, drink a black cow? I thought of chocolate milk.
Chocolate milk?
Yeah.
That makes more sense. But, that makes a lot more sense. But the reason it's root beer float is because it's at a bar, I guess. The person, I don't know the lyrics very well. I don't know if you looked at the lyrics too much.
Not really.
You're the lyrics guy, so I don't really know what this song even means. I think it's about a guy in a bar who's down on his luck.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah,
he's drinking a root beer float. So for each of these songs, I did a favorite moment, and I also did a secondary moment because in at least half of these songs, my favorite moment is just whatever solo they have. because I'm that guy.
Yeah.
So my favorite moment in this song was the piano solo. And then in parentheses, like my second favorite moment is the intro bass line. I fucking love that, like, it's one of my favorite, like, simple bass lines.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave it a 9 out of 10. I rate these anyways for myself, but what did you think?
I gave it a 2. It was.
I forgot yours was out of 3.
Yeah, mine's out of 3. Mine's out of 3. So you said, "Damn." No, but yeah, it's all right. I wasn't like super crazy about it, but it's definitely not something that I was like, ugh. Yeah, no, it was all right. It was pretty good.
Interesting. All right, so next song is the title track, Asia. So I have a little bit more information about this. So by the time Becker and Fagan began writing and recording the sixth Steely Dan album, Asia, in 1977, the two felt comfortable enough to focus on their songwriting. Becker said, "We were feeling really lucky that year and wanted to try something longer."
I can tell.
So Asia is actually a suite that combines several other songs they were working on, including an early demo song called "Stand by the Seawall." So that's why it kind of it's almost like progressive rock in a way. Like it's more like art rock, I guess, but it's kind of got like progressive elements because it's got a couple different sections.
Yes.
They had, so for the charts, okay, so 3 music stands were required to hold the charts for each player in the rhythm section.
Wow.
Which is basically, which is insane.
Yeah, that's crazy. If you're not a musician, obviously the music stand is where you put your music, and so like
charts is basically like sheet music.
Yeah,
it gives you the chords and the general idea of the song, and it's a jazz thing. They use it to give jazz players a lot of freedom to put their own spin on it, I guess. And this album is very jazzy.
Yes.
So they use charts. 3 music stands can probably hold probably 10.
Like normal sheets of paper?
Pages, yeah. So that's a shit ton of music.
Yeah, that's a lot. And this song is like 8 minutes long.
Yeah. Despite that, it actually didn't take very much time to record compared to the other songs in Asia.
Probably about 8 minutes.
On Asia, which were all much simpler.
Yeah,
so originally they planned to rehearse for a day before beginning to record, but changed their mind after one performance. Steve Gadd this is a quote, I don't know from who. Steve Gadd, being a fantastic drummer, is a fantastic sight reader, which means you're reading as you play it, and didn't really need to rehearse. Neither did the rest of the band. So that's fucking insane.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
And this is my favorite thing I've learned about this album. According to Sweet, Gadd's playing was so visually appealing that some of the other players became distracted and had to re-record portions of their parts later, which is fucking amazing because holy shit, the drumming, especially on this song, oh my god, it's so good. Anyways, I've talked enough. Your turn.
Okay, well, the first thing I actually wrote was that I love the percussion. The drumming is amazing, and I don't. There's a lot of like other like I was talking about earlier, right? Like the fucking like smaller percussion instruments in there. I gotta say the vocal melodies are really weird, and I think that's because it's a jazz song, because that's kind of how it goes. But and also it's Don Fagen that's singing, right?
I think so.
His voice, I'm not super crazy about. He I don't know. It just sounds kind of weird, and like I said, the vocal melodies are kind of weird. There's this really cool. I think it's mallets. I don't remember exactly what it sounds like, but there's like this there's like this plinky line.
I think it's marimbas. It's like bum 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 bum.
Yes.
Bum bum bum.
Yes.
Bum,
Yes.
bum, kind of thing.
Yeah. And I like that. I think that's pretty cool. I gotta say, this song is one of those long songs that kind of just feels like it keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. And it did kind of, it kind of failed to keep my attention, honestly. This one, I don't know why, but this one it was really really easy for me to just get lost in it. You know.
Yeah, I can see that. I fucking love this song. Like, I really love this song. I think it's a very good vibe song. Like, this is the exact type of music to put on in the background while you're doing something else.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this whole
chill.
album is like that for me.
Mm-hmm. I love the length because it kind of switches it up a lot, and I like the different little sections. For me, the favorite moment, and this is my favorite moment on the entire album,
nice,
is the combination drum and sax solo in the middle. Holy shit! Oh man, when those fucking drums start going crazy and the sax is like, I don't even really care about the sax, honestly. Like, it's a great solo, but the drums just overshadow it that much for me.
Yeah, I agree. Like,
I fucking love it.
The sax solo itself, honestly, that sounded kind of standard to me, but yeah, the percussion really really makes this song for sure.
My second favorite moment, because this is a solo as well, is the instrumental part before the verses. Mm-hmm. So kind of like the beginning where he's like fucking around with like guitar, piano, and bass. I think it's over a B major 11 or no 13. I think.
Ooh.
I had some sheet music for it, kind of. It's like someone transcribed it. That's what they said. I don't know how accurate that is, but it's just so like cool. I love these specific like ethereal kind of like chords. Mm-hmm. And it's just so, I don't know. I just love it.
Well, like your 13ths and 11ths are like jazz chords, right? Or am I making that up?
Yeah, basically.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I wasn't sure.
So basically, the 13. So okay, so you start with a major chord, C major, for example. You got your triad, C, E, and G.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we're gonna do this diatonically for C major.
Okay.
So you can add another third on there to get you C major 7, C, E, G, B.
Okay.
Then you add another third on there to get C major 9, C, E, G, B, D. And then you can add another third to get C major 11, which you normally sharpen that, but we're not going to do that. So you get C, E, G, B, D, and F. And then you add another third on top of that, and you get C major 13.
Okay.
And jazz is complex. So basically, you don't play 13 notes, or not 13, but like, 8 notes at once. You typically only play the notes that are very important in something like this. So that'd be like basically what gives it its flavor. So the third is very important. The 7th is very important. The 9th can be very important. And I think the 11th is very important.
Well, go ahead.
I'm not like very well versed in jazz, but from what I understand, that's kind of how it works.
Yeah, and you definitely know. I'm happy you explained that because I was actually about to ask you to explain that. David's really good with music theory, at least compared to me. I know how to build chords. I know how to build major and minor chords, and that's pretty much the extent of my music theory knowledge. Yeah. So thank you for explaining that. But yeah, also 7th chords are like jazz chords too, right, so to speak.
Yeah, basically in jazz, your 7th chord it kind of replaces your triad.
Okay.
I mean, there's more to it than that.
Nice. Okay.
So I gave this a 10 out of 10. I think this is a perfect song.
Wow. Nice. I think that's your first. Is that your first one so far in the show?
Nope. Beginnings, which
I like
right. Beginnings more than this song.
That's right.
So this is a lower 10 than Beginnings, but it's still, I think, a perfect song.
Nice. Well.
What did you give it?
Well, I gave it a 1 too. I actually did not like this song that much. I didn't hate it by any means, but it just, like I said, it really didn't keep my attention. The good parts kind of got lost in the mix for me. It was like a sea of noise. I didn't hate it. I really didn't hate it at all. But it was just kind of eh. And I think the reason why is because the Steely Dan that I'm most used to is like I said, their older stuff. and that's just kind of the Steely Dan that I like more. So it's not a bad
Right.
song, but it's just not really for me.
Right. So next up is
Deacon Blues.
Oops, I almost skipped a song. Next up is Deacon Blues. I don't have a whole lot to say about this song in terms of just information. It was largely written at Fagen's house in Malibu and was prompted by his observation that if a college football team like the University of Alabama could have a grandiose name like the Crimson Tide, the nerds and losers should be entitled to a grandiose name as well.
So he came up with Deacon Blues?
Yeah, so he came up with Deacon Blues.
That's not quite as grandiose as Crimson Tide, but...
No.
He's like, we need a color. He's like, somebody give me a word. And somebody's like, Deacon? Deacon Blues, perfect.
So the Deacon part comes from some football player named Deacon Jones, I think, or something. And like these guys, as you can probably tell, are not football fans, but so they didn't know anything about him, but they knew his name was Deacon. So that's where it came from. Oh, and it peaked at number 19 on the Billboard chart.
Nice. Okay. Deacon, I don't know if you know this, but I grew up in church, and a deacon is like I don't even know what a deacon does, but it's like it's somebody who has like my dad was a deacon for our church, and it's funny. So this song kind of reminds me of him just because it's called Deacon Blues, and my dad also loves Steely Dan, but yeah. Anyway, do you want my notes?
I do. Give me them.
The chorus is badass. I love it so much. It is so catchy. It's like learn to work the saxophone.
The saxophone.
Yeah, it's really like it's really bouncy and catchy. The rest is kind of mushy for me. Oh shit! I wrote. Oh man, I do this thing where I like write down something like similar to the way it sounds in the song. That doesn't make any sense. You have to look at it to know what I'm talking about. But then I forget. So I don't know what part I'm talking about, but it looks like wah wah wah. Ah. Does that sound familiar?
No.
Damn. Well.
What the fuck?
Oh well. Anyway, compared to the chorus, I think the verses are kind of weak. And then also, but there's a lot of like kind of chromatic lines that are like sprinkled in here and there, and there's like they have like half a line cliche here and there, but I think it sounds really really good with the rest of the song. So this one's I like this one. I enjoyed this one. I think it was pretty good.
I was hoping you would look more at lyrics.
It was kind of hard for me to hear them.
Well, I was hoping you would look them up, but I guess that's too advanced.
It is. I don't know how to use Google. I can do that right now, though.
No, it's fine. But
I'm gonna do it anyway.
Because I don't care about the lyrics at all. I fucking love this song, kind of. I do, but it's not like Asia Love, the song.
Yeah.
It's another groovy and vibey song. I think a lot of these are very like atmospheric, and it's like put it on in the background, or like if you're trying to relax, I think these songs are really good for that.
Yeah.
In general, at least.
Oh, I gotta say. Favorite... Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Okay.
Go ahead.
I gotta say, there's backup in this song too. So the chorus goes, "Learn to work the saxophone. I play just what I feel," and the way that Fagen sings it is like, "Learn to work the saxophone." I don't remember how "I play just what I feel" sounds like, but I do remember that like the backup, when it gets to feel, they go like feel, and I don't like that part that much. But yeah, so the first part of the chorus is actually, I'll just read the chorus out loud real quick. It's learn to work the saxophone. I play just what I feel. Drink scotch whiskey all night long and die behind the wheel. They got a name for the winners in the world. I want a name when I lose. They call Alabama the Crimson Tide. Call me Deacon Blues, which is like a pretty good chorus. I especially like the "and die behind the wheel" part. Anyway, go ahead. Keep
going. My favorite moment in this song is actually the chorus.
It's good. Chorus is very strong.
Because holy shit, it's so good.
Yeah.
I love the backing vocals, especially. And the way it goes, like, learn to work the saxophone. I play just what I feel. Drink scotch whiskey all night long. And die behind the wheel.
Yeah, that
Stuff
part's
like that.
awesome. That part is
It's
so good. Yeah, for sure.
And in terms of lyrics, this is like the only part of the album I care about in terms of lyrics. But like, in general, I like the lyrics to this chorus, but I especially like the last part. They got a name for the winners in the world. I want a name when I lose.
Yeah.
They call Alabama the Crimson Tide. Call me Deacon Blues. Deacon Blues is not like the most, like the coolest thing you could say there, but the way he kind of sings it with such like conviction, I guess.
Yes.
And it's also the backing vocals there, but it really sells it, and I just like those lyrics in general.
No, I agree. I think that chorus is amazing.
My second favorite moment is the sax solo.
Mm-hmm.
But for this one, the chorus I actually liked more than the solo.
David, I remember what the thing I wrote down was.
Was it the solo?
No, it was the part. It's a part that the saxophones do where they go like, do 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 do. You know what I'm talking about? That sounds amazing. Yeah. That part is so good. I think it comes. It's like at a certain point in the song. I don't remember exactly like where it is. It might be like after the verse or like after the chorus or something, but it's very good.
I think it's between the chorus and the next verse.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think you're right.
Exactly.
But it's good.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's good.
Is that your rating?
No.
I gave this a 9 out of 10.
I gave it a 2. I like this one. I definitely like this one better than the other two. So far. It's still not like I didn't add it to my playlist, but it's pretty close. It's definitely something that I could throw on.
I see. All right. Next song. Peg.
Peg.
Peg. He kind of says it like peg.
Peg.
So I don't have a whole lot, but it was a single, and it got to number 11
this one was pretty
in
popular.
1978 for some reason. The song could be a reference to Broadway star and one-time Hollywood actress Peg Entwistle, who became famous in 1932 by jumping to her death from the Hollywood sign before her first film was ever released.
Wow, Peg, you blew that one.
Have you heard of that story before? Because I had, but it was like lost in my memory until I read that.
Yeah, I had like heard it somewhere, but it wasn't something that I like could. It's not something I could tell you about, but it sounds familiar. I think everybody's heard of. Because like I don't remember I think like there's been a handful of people that have killed themselves that way.
Probably.
Just jumping from the
It
Hollywood
can't be
sign.
just Peg.
Yeah, it's got to be more than just Peg.
Probably Steely Dan probably did that.
I can
see. Is it that bad of a joke, or?
I was reading the lyrics and it took a second to process.
I just look up and I see you like staring, like, and I'm just like a blank expression of slight disgust. And like, damn.
You said, "I'm sorry," but no, but I was reading the lyrics and yeah, it took me a second to process what you're saying, but no, I could see this being about something like that because it's about. It seems like it's about a movie star.
Yes, but
odd.
I don't know because I don't listen to lyrics.
So it's I like this one a lot. This is probably my favorite one on the album. It's so freaking catchy, dude. It's my mom and my dad both love this song, and as soon as this song started, I had like a flashback to being like 8, and I think my mom was like either one of my parents was cleaning out something, and they were playing this song on like the CD player that we had, and I was just sitting there like kicking my feet or whatever. But yeah, this song is really really good. It's out of the whole album, it's the closest to like what's quote unquote commercially acceptable, I think, and that might be why I think this one is. I think on this album, this is the one that like most people know. But I don't quote me on that. I might be wrong.
I think this is it did get number 11. I think this is the most popular song.
Okay. Yeah, I was pretty sure,
it's
but I wasn't.
This or the title track. But in terms of like, I think most people would know Peg more than Asia.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I said it feels good.
I'm kind of surprised that this is like your favorite so far, at least. I like this song a lot, but I was listening to it, the beginning especially, and I wrote down kind of sounds like Mario Kart, because it kind of does.
It does. I didn't think of that. It sounds like Mario Kart 8. It does.
Specifically, like a track that's like on the highway at night, like, and there's tunnels and shit. You know, like you can picture this, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god, and like I was like,
oh my god. The more you say that,
like
wow, you're right. You're totally right. I didn't even think of that.
And that's not a bad thing at all. Mario Kart music slaps.
Oh my god, that's funny.
But yeah, another groovy / vibey song, and this I like this song a lot, but I think this is the biggest detractor of this album.
Yeah,
it's all the same style. It's all like this, like jazzy, like put it on in the background, or while you're listening, or while trying to go to sleep.
While you're listening to another song. Just got so much music on at the same time.
And I think it gets kind of samey.
A little bit.
That being said, I still like Peg a lot.
I love this song. I gotta say, yeah. So this is a song where they had 6 guitarists to record the solo, and in this, did you read the behind the lyrics thing in Spotify?
I did not.
Dude, apparently
I have that turned off.
Oh.
Or no, I don't. I just don't read it.
Apparently, I usually don't either, but I just read it since I was listening to it. But apparently, fucking Fagan and was it Brecker is the other one?
I think.
Apparently, they were like assholes about recording this song because they were just like really particular with what they wanted. And I gotta say, I don't really like the guitar solo that much.
Really?
Yeah, the first half is he's just kind of like dragging his hand across the fretboard, and the second half he gets more like technical. But yeah, I don't really like the beginning of it that much. I feel like it's a little different from the rest of the song, and I don't quite like the effect on the guitar either. But that being said, it doesn't take away from the song for me at all.
That's kind of interesting to me, because my favorite moment in the song is the guitar solo.
Okay.
Because I love that, like, the thing about like guitar solos especially is because they're so overdone. Well, I don't want to say it like that, but
I know what you
they're
mean
done
though.
so often.
Yeah.
That like, in order to stand out, I want it to be different, and I think this one does that.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then the second half also just sounds fucking dope because it's very technical and like impressive and shit.
Yeah. So the second half is better than the first half, in my opinion.
I think they both enhance each other, and I think the backing of it really helps, the like instruments behind it.
Yes.
But yes, that's my favorite moment in the song. My second favorite is the sax line in the chorus. The do 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 do.
Me too.
Yeah.
That part's awesome.
I fucking love that.
That might be my favorite part of the song.
That also sounds like Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Like, but again, like not in a bad way.
And then the lyrics in this song are what he sings is very catchy. It's just very like poppy and like bouncy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna plug my laptop in here.
Okay. I give it an 8 out of 10.
I gave it a 2-3. I like this one a lot. This one I did not add to my playlist, but I think if I keep listening to it, I eventually will, because I think it'll grow on me. Yeah, this one's pretty dope.
I will say I do think a lot of these songs are growers. Because the first time I listened to this album, other than the saxophone / drum solo on Asia, it didn't capture me right away. It took me 2 or 3 listens to really get the love for it that I have now. And even now, I think this album could be. I think it'll grow on me more, but I don't think it's as good of an album as I thought at like a couple listens ago, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That being said, I still think it's a great album. Anyways, this song specifically, I give it 8 out of 10.
Nice. It's good.
I love this song.
I'm gonna go pee real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay, you do that.
Dude, one of my favorite artists on Instagram, like comics artists on Instagram, he posted a comic that was funny, so I put in my story, and he replied to it. And I'm a little starstruck right now, not gonna lie. Anyway, go ahead.
The next song, what is it? It is
Home at Last.
Home at Last. I don't have anything about this song in terms of just raw information.
Okay.
So it's your turn.
It's all right. I wrote. It's cool that they got Funky Worm to do a solo. Do you know what I'm talking about when I say that?
I don't.
There's this. Have you heard of the Ohio Players?
I've heard of them. I haven't listened to them. I want to. I think I'm going to, but.
Well, maybe we'll do one of their albums at some point. But they have a song called Funky Worm, and what's been sampled like a billion times. But it's they use this very specific like keyboard or like synth or whatever, and it's very fluid, and that's how there's like a keyboard that's really similar to this or to that in this song. And it sounds cool. I like it. This one is another one that feels a little longer than it is. At this point, this is where the album to me starts really sounding kind of samey.
I fully agree.
Yeah. This one isn't bad. This song really isn't bad, but it's just in terms of like, I don't know. I feel like the first 4 have like their own kind of thing, and then Peg is really, really, really strong. So I feel like this song coming right after Peg is kind of at a disadvantage because of that. But I also think that like, except for maybe Asia, I feel like almost any other song would be at that same disadvantage. That's just because Peg is amazing.
I agree for the most part. This song to me, it just sounds like the same songs that we've heard before. That being said, holy shit, the piano. Ugh, this is one of my favorite things in music. These like crunchy like chords and played like a very rhythmic pattern. They're like, and it's like these like crunchy kind of. I think there's dominant 7th chords, or something. I don't know. Maybe major 9s, but holy shit, I love that. And that right there is enough to make me love this song. Okay. The rest of the song is pretty standard. If the rest of the song was bad, obviously.
Yeah. But no, I agree. It's not bad by any means, but yeah, it's just kind of standard. But yeah, it's still good.
I agree. This is all I had written for this. Love the piano intro, and then I said favorite moment is the piano intro, and second is the guitar solo. Yeah, I don't remember what it sounds like. I remember liking it though.
That's the thing with this podcast is that it gets kind of tough. I'm sure Chicago 9 was the same way for you, where like eventually you just kind of run out of things to say. And fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. Well, there I went, running out of things to say.
Oh, I do like the I think it's saxophone, the like da 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 da.
Yeah.
Da, da, da. I do like that part, and I only remember that because I'm looking at sheet music of it right now.
Yeah, and that's the other tough thing too, is that I don't know about you, but I don't listen to I listen to them a couple times, but I don't listen to them right before we record. So like, sometimes they're not always. Maybe we should do that, but we don't necessarily have to. But sometimes it's harder for me to remember stuff because it's not as fresh in my mind.
We can figure that out. We'll probably do something different next time. But anyways, yeah, this song I do still love it because I love this vibe in general and that crunchy piano. I can't get enough of that. So I still am giving this an 8 out of 10, but it's a very low 8 out of 10. What did you give it?
I gave it a 2. So okay. Not 2 is like it's like very middle of the road. So it's like not bad, not like super awesome, amazing, but it's definitely not bad by any means. Which I think I've already explained like every other episode, but
yeah, well,
and I'll explain it every other episode.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so the next song is "I Got the News."
Got the news.
What'd you think?
Okay, this one I wasn't as crazy about, to be honest. The first word I wrote was odd. I feel like the lyrics and the lyrics and the music kind of clash with each other, which I don't remember why exactly I wrote that, so I'm gonna look up the lyrics. But and also like the chords, they're really weird chords used in the piano, and they come in at like really weird intervals, or maybe not intervals, but the way they come in is weird.
The rhythm.
Yeah. Thank you. The rhythm. That's what I was trying to say. It's like I'm not a fucking musician.
Because the beginning kind of has this bass line of like bum 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 bum, and the piano's kind of going like a bop 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 bop.
Yeah.
Bop bop.
And like weird. Here's the thing, dude. Is like I love like bossa nova and stuff like that, and honestly, that and even like triplets themselves are kind of weird because they're not quite like standard. You know what I mean? And I think that can be done well. I don't think that it was done super well in this song. It just sounds weird. It just sticks out.
For me, that's my favorite part of the song. Specifically, the bass line. It's so simple and it's repetitive as hell. Like, goddamn, it's just like bum 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 bum. It's so fucking catchy for no reason.
Yeah,
again, I love the crunchy piano, like rhythmic things.
Yeah.
And that's what this song is full of. Kind of. It's not enough for me.
I agree. But, I think too, like a simple bass line. If there's other interesting stuff going on, I think a simple bass line is really cool. Or even like just like a simple lick that's like the same, like maybe like a lead guitar part that's just like the same thing the whole way through. If there's interesting stuff going on around it, then it's a really cool way to kind of ground the rest of the song, you know?
I agree.
So I mean, yeah. So I think the bass line definitely works in its favor. Yeah, the weird piano rhythm is not for me. So yeah.
This song, I don't understand why. Okay, the verse is kind of decent. It's like, you and you're like, you're a mark, you're a screamer, you know how to hustle, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And then the chorus is just, he goes, I got the news. And then it's just the piano, the bump, bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
And it's like, why?
Yeah.
That should be like the end of the chorus if you're gonna do that. Mm-hmm. Like that shouldn't be the chorus.
I agree.
You know,
I 100% agree. I think that could be done better. I don't know. I think that because like jazz, that's a jazz thing too, right? Like kind of odd, quote unquote, rhythms.
Yes.
And I think they
syncopation.
Yeah, so that's oh my god. It's like I didn't take fucking band for 6 years. Jesus Christ. Anyway, no, but yeah, syncopation can be done really, really, really well, and there's oftentimes I really, really like syncopation. I think maybe if they didn't rely so heavily on that on that piano riff, then maybe I would like this one a little better.
I actually agree with that too. Even though I fucking love that piano riff, it's not enough to carry a song, and that's just a personal thing because it's kind of like this is something that I think most normal people wouldn't like this like choppy playing with like very crunchy. This is the kind of shit that like prog rock has in it.
Yeah.
And I don't love prog rock. It depends on the song. We'll get into that eventually.
Oh, probably. We will for sure.
Maybe.
Absolutely.
But this specific combination of the bossa nova kind of rhythm, which thank you for saying that because I couldn't place it.
Yeah.
Combined with these like chord clusters, oh, it's so good, so good. I think, but I totally understand that that's a me thing, and most people probably won't like that.
I think it can be done well. I don't think this is a great. Me personally, this isn't a great example of it.
That being said, the rest of the song almost is bad. It's like generic.
Yeah, and like I said, this after this part, like I got Home at Last is where it enters samey territory, and it doesn't really get out of there. Luckily, there's only 3.
I actually agree.
Luckily, there's only 3 songs left. So, well, after.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's
1 song left actually. I didn't take math either ever.
I don't know what's going on. We're recording somewhat earlier today, I think.
Maybe that's why.
It's 1:00 now, so
maybe that's why.
No excuse.
My brain's not working. It's from being out of work for fucking 2.5 months.
That's fair. Speaking of fair, this is my least favorite song on the album. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
I don't think it's gonna go down. I think some of these other songs might end up at 7 out of 10 instead of 8, or 8 out instead of 9. But yeah, for right now, this is my least favorite.
I gave it a 1 too. Because the thing is, like, and this is similar to Paul McCartney, where Steely Dan, especially with like session musicians, like I can appreciate good music and good instrumentation, but that doesn't necessarily mean I like the song. But if the music and instrumentation is good, then I have to give it some points for that. So it's not a 1 because it's not like bad by any means, but it's just not really like super interesting and like doesn't really catch my attention. Yada yada.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, so the last song on the album is Josie.
There's 3 songs on this album that are the names of women.
Yeah, Steely Dan likes women.
I thought you were going to say Steely Dan was named after a woman.
Steely Dan was a ladies' man. That was actually their final album, Steely Dan, the ladies' man.
And all the songs.
Steely Dan died.
All the songs were women's names.
Oh fuck! It's starting to rain.
Is it really?
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
Well, we're gonna take a break because I need to go inside. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So the last song, Josie. What are your thoughts?
Well, this song to me, I almost like didn't notice when it changed from I Got the News into Josie. It almost sounds like the same song to me. I wrote it's kind of dull, it's kind of standard. The intro is pretty cool though. But yeah, it sounds a lot like the last one, and I think it even has like similar syncopated piano licks, doesn't it?
Yeah, it has like a one da 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 da.
I think that one's a little cooler. Yeah, this one was a little cooler than the last one. Well, that like the syncopated parts are a little cooler, but all in all, it's like the same deal as the last one for me. It's just kind of
I agree. For the most part, I do like this one more than I Got the News.
I can agree with that too.
There's an instrumental section and the bass line. I don't know if you really pay attention to this, but it was so good. They have like a dun 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 dun, and it's like this really cool rhythm. And it's so simple, but it's so good.
I think the simple rhythms, yeah, like the simple, like I think I might have said this already, but like the simple rhythms kind of paired with the more syncopated stuff going on, it makes an interesting dynamic.
My favorite moment was the guitar solo, which I don't even remember what it sounds like. which is an issue I have with this album.
Yeah.
I like it in the moment, but I can never remember what it sounds like afterwards.
Yeah. And that's, yeah, I agree. It all just kind of mushes together afterwards, especially.
And then the second favorite moment is the part. I guess it's the chorus. Yeah. Specifically when they're like, she said she prays like a Roman with her eyes on fire.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't remember exactly what it sounds like. That's the rhythm.
It's cool.
It's really cool. Did you have anything else to say?
No, that was it for me. I gave it a 1-2.
Gave it an 8 out of 10. It's probably going to go down to a 7. But as of right now, it's an 8 out of 10. So yeah.
All right.
That was Asia.
Final thoughts time.
Yeah. What would you just give your final thoughts on this album?
Okay.
And remember, the reason I chose this album was because I felt, at the time at least, that this did that jazz rock shtick better than Chicago does. Or at least Chicago 9 does.
I kind of wish you didn't tell me that, because I kind of judged it based off of that, and Chicago 9 is one of my favorite albums. So it made me, I think that kind of like made me biased against it, which is like me being a human being, and I wish I didn't do that. I wish I would have listened to it more objectively. I do think that Chicago, and I think that these albums are kind of two different things. But for my final thoughts, I wrote, it's basically, I was really harsh on it. I'll just read what I said and then I'll clarify, because I don't quite agree with what I wrote as much now, but I wrote, it's basically the same song 7 times, which, like I said, I don't quite agree with anymore, but it's really not bad. It's not bad at all. It has some really, really, really impressive elements. Like I said, the instrumentation is amazing. All the musicians are amazing. But somehow, to me, it still manages to be kind of bland at times. Personally, I think if the songs were like maybe shorter, maybe not necessarily shorter, but if they were like easier to digest and kind of like more concise, because they definitely like, and I think this is like a thing that happens with jazz a lot for me, where it like meanders, and I feel like it never, sometimes it just kind of keeps wandering to me. Then I think I would like it more. I think the main reason why I'm not super crazy about this album is because it's just not really my style. Because I like jazz, but I tend to like jazz that's a little bit more simple. Because I'm just a simple guy. The final rating I gave it is a 1, but now that I think about it, I don't quite agree with that. I think I would bump it up to either a 1, 2, or maybe a 2. But yeah.
Would you listen to it again?
Absolutely. I would, but I would not. I would, but it would be like, I would listen to this if I like didn't know what I wanted to listen to. This isn't something that's going to be at the top of my list.
Right. Yeah. So I actually didn't write any final thoughts. I don't know why I didn't do that, but I did. Overall, I originally gave it a 9 out of 10. I think I'm going to drop that down to an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
For me, I agree for the most part that it is definitely the same song 7 times.
Which isn't like,
however,
which isn't always a bad thing, but.
Right. The thing is, if they would have, okay, so the first 4 songs, to me,
Solid.
all stand out in different ways.
Yeah.
And yet, they're the exact same shtick. But they have enough differences that it really, to me, they kind of each get their own personality.
I agree.
And then the last 3 really fall off. It's just like these are 3 generic Steely Dan songs. Like,
I agree.
None of them are bad, but they're not, to me at least, none of them are bad, but none of them have their own personality.
I agree. Yeah, no, 100%. I think the first 4 are very, very, very strong. For me, it's like it keeps going up, and then Peg is like the top of the hill, and then after that it just kind of drops off.
Yeah, for me it's more of it starts off strong, gets to Asia, which is my favorite, and then it kind of steadily drops off. But I think part of the reason I was so like, oh, this is so much better than Chicago 9 was just because of those first 4 songs. They like completely held up the rest of this album. Because like when I think of this album, I think of the best moments of it. I think of the drum and sax solo in Asia. I think of the piano solo and the bass line in Black Cow, the chorus of Deepening Blues, and like those elements on their own, I still think are done better. I shouldn't say done better, I guess, because Chicago didn't really attempt this stuff. But I think I definitely prefer it. I'll say that much. To most of what Chicago was doing. At least on Chicago 9.
Which is like pretty much all.
But overall, yeah. But overall, I still think this is I think I prefer this album more. I don't necessarily think it's a better album. I think what it is they're basically two sides of the same coin.
I can see what you're saying.
They're both jazz rock. They're just very different. This is more jazz.
That's more jazz than rock.
The other one is more rock.
Yeah, for sure.
Than jazz.
For sure. And I think also the fact that it's so short kind of does to its advantage, because if there were more songs that were like the last 3, then it would probably be a lot weaker. So
I agree.
The fact that there's 4 really, really pretty solid songs and then 3 that are all right. Because like Asia, even though I gave it a 1-2, I can still recognize that it's like a really good work of art. It's just not necessarily my style, but I can still like appreciate it for what it is. But I can't really say the same for the last 3.
Yeah. So overall, I think I'm going to keep it as 9 out of 10 for right now. But I think on my next listen, it's going to go down. Not necessarily because it's worse than what I thought. Well, okay, that's not necessarily a bad thing, I guess. But I think I overrated it in my own mind.
I do that sometimes.
And I think that spilled over into, oh, this is going to be so much better than Chicago, blah, 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 kind of thing, but yeah.
Cool. Well, yeah, Asia by Steely Dan. Hopefully you gave it a listen. All right, so you ready to hear what we're listening to next week? This week, rather.
Yes.
Okay, so David and I agreed that we're going to try to... The way we're going to try to pick albums is like in a way that like it reminds... Whatever we listen to this, like the week that we're talking about, the next week, the album will be... It'll remind it... Do you know what I'm trying to say? It'll remind us of it in some way.
And it can be a small thing. It can be as small as like, oh, the lyrics in 3 of these songs had the word "the" in it.
Yeah.
And this album title has the word "the" in it.
Yeah.
Or something like stupid like that.
Which is exactly what I did. It can be the loosest, dumbest shit ever. And so Steely Dan, well, as everyone knows, I think at this point, Steely Dan is like quintessential dad rock. And at least like older Steely Dan is, and my dad loves Steely Dan. So the album that we're going to be listening to this week is Songs for Dads by the Walters.
What the fuck?
Have you ever heard of them?
I have never heard of this.
Nice, good. Okay, so I don't want to give like too much about it, but also I was kind of starting to get tired of 70s music. So Songs for Dads was released in 2014.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, is this like I have heard. Okay, I think I have one song from this album. I got it in my Discover Weekly at some point.
So did I.
So did I. I don't remember which one it is. I'm sure I will remember it when I hear it. But dude, I thought this was gonna be some like cheesy fucking like the Floaters bullshit. Like, and I was like, okay, I'm actually really excited now because this is okay.
I think it'll be interesting. One of the songs came up in my Discover. And I was not, before this podcast, I was not really an album listener. I was more just I just listen to songs here and there. And so I decided I wanted to be more like that. One of the songs on this album, I don't remember if it's one of my favorite songs or if it's just, I just really, really like it. But so I decided to check out this album. And yeah, I want to know what you think. So Songs for Dads by the Walters. I started putting the links to the albums that we listen to and the albums for the next weeks in the description, so you can find that down there, and then I will also put the link to the top 10 playlist that David made for this week.
Yeah. Speaking of, let's look that up now.
Yeah, let's see. So I'll find the. If you want to go to Billboard, I'll find when this album actually came out.
Will do. So if you want to play along for next week, if you want to talk along with us for some reason because you're, I don't know, lonely, I guess.
Do you do that? Because I do that sometimes.
No, I don't get lonely. I get lonely.
Well, I'm single. So.
Okay. That's fair. My point is, listen to the album. Oh God, I can't hear anything. Oh my God, I hate how the Billboard Hot 100 has a video.
Fuck yeah.
Like, I don't give a shit.
No, me neither.
And I can't even it's not even letting me do things. Oh my God. So anyways, listen to the album for next week. And
thanks for listening. We love you guys. Yeah, and we'll see you next week with Songs for Dads.
Yeah, we will.
Adios.